Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Mishrapat Paramansa Parivrajagatarishto Tarisata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Ila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Mishrapat Paramansa Parivrajagatarishto Tarisata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shri Ila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhari Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, text number 16. Why is there so much echo? Why is there so much echo? Echo, echo. Reduce the echo. Aham mama abhimana uttaihi. Aham mama abhimanottaihi. Aham mama abhimanottaihi. Kama lobha adibhihi malaihi kamalobhadibhirmalaihi kamalobhadibhirmalaihi vitam yada manaha shuddham vitam yada manashuddham vitam yada manashuddham adukham asukham samam adukham asukham samam adukham asukham samam aham mama abhimanottaihi kamalobhadibhirmalaihi vitam yada manashuddham adukham asukham samam aham mama abhimanottaihi kamalobhadibhirmalaihi vitam yada manashuddham adukham asukham samam. Aham, I, mama, mine, abhimana, from the misconception. Uttaihi, produced. Kama, lust. Lobha, greed. Adibhihi, and so on. Malaihi, from the impurities. Vitam, freed. Yada, when. Manaha, the mind. Shuddham, pure. Adukham, without distress. Asukham, without happiness. Samam, equipoised. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. When one is completely cleansed of the impurities of lust and greed produced from the false identification of the body as I and bodily possessions as mine, one's mind becomes purified. In that pure state, he transcends the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. Kindly repeat. When one is completely cleansed of the impurities of lust and greed produced from the false identification of the body as I and bodily possessions as mine, one's mind becomes purified. In that pure state, he transcends the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Kama and Lobha are the symptoms of material existence. Everyone always desires to possess something. It is said here that desire and greed are the products of false identification of oneself with the body. When one becomes free from this contamination, then his mind and consciousness also become freed and attain their original state. Mind, consciousness, and the living entity exist. Whenever we speak of the living entity, this includes the mind and consciousness. The difference between conditional life and liberated life occurs when we purify the mind and the consciousness. When they are purified, one becomes transcendental to material happiness and distress. In the beginning, Lord Kapila has said that perfect yoga enables one to transcend the platform of material distress and happiness. How this can be done is explained here. One has to purify his mind and consciousness. This can be done by the Bhakti Yoga system. As explained in the Narada Pancharatra, one's mind and senses should be purified. Tatparatvena nirmalam. One's senses must be engaged in devotional service to the Lord. That is the process. The mind must have some engagement. One cannot make the mind vacant. Of course, there are some foolish attempts to try to make the mind vacant or void, but that is not possible. The only process that will purify the mind is to engage it in Krishna. The mind must be engaged. If we engage our mind in Krishna, naturally the consciousness becomes fully purified and there is no chance of the entrance of material desire and greed. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dina Taranam. In Vrindavan, in the beginning, when the Vrindavan Chandrodaya Mandir project had still not taken off, beginning we had some little land. We were running a small Akshay Patra kitchen out of one shed, feeding maybe about 1,000-1,500 meals every day. At that time, This was in 2005. We built that torus, dome and torus. Of course, that will soon be no more there. That will also disappear. When we shifted the kitchen into that torus, then the thought was what to do with the dome. And there were some devotees there. So we thought we'll start off with a small temple for devotees, just for internal sadhana, not for public and all that. That was not the thinking. We thought small temple, nobody will come. Our devotees, they can do their sadhana. That's how in 2006, the Radha Vrindavan Chandra Mandir within that dome was built, and Radha Vrindavan Chandra they were consecrated, they were installed. Now, once we had done this, we were developing the rest of the land. There was no road to come up to the dome and torus, so we had to make a road. And along with that, we had to make some greenery. You know, the front entrance, you cannot leave it like a jungle. At that time, one portion of the land there, we decided to create an OAT, an open-air theatre. That open-air theatre, of course, is now closed, again because of the main road that has come up. But at that time, when we were wanting to make the OAT, we dug up the entire earth. And after that, we had to do all the brickwork and create all those steps. And we had to create a platform, we had to create a green room, all these things had to come up. Contractor was engaged, bricks were bought, all these things happened. And it so happened it was a rainy season at that time. July, August, September is rainy season in Vrindavan. And the soil there in our campus is such that it is very soft. When we were trying to make the road, one side road roller will be running, those heavy rollers to compact the earth. So where the roller runs, the earth will go down and get compacted. Adjacent to that, the earth will come up. Now you run the road roller here, the earth will go down here, it will come up here. That kind of soil, very tough conditions. So no road also at that time, you can imagine, that was the situation. And rainy season, very slushy, very difficult to even walk, forget about vehicles coming. Now that OIT we had to build, we had to shift all the material, we had to bring bricks, cement, so many things to the site, and then take out the earth. And there is this big pit inside which we have to work. Rainy season, slushy. Any vehicle goes. In fact, one truck came to deliver bricks. By the time half the truck was unloaded, the truck toppled and fell over. Because the earth, settling, because of the weight, one side it tilted and it fell down. Very challenging situation. Now, in that rainy season, we had to continue construction. We had to build. Now, what to do? You cannot use equipment. We tried using rickshaws, tried using trolleys, so many things. Nothing, everything gets stuck. Finally, no other option. Somebody suggested to get donkeys. We got a set of donkeys. And these donkeys on their backs were strapped, 2 bags on both sides. We would load all the bricks into it. The donkeys will come from the site where bricks were unloaded to the place where construction was happening, and they would go back and forth. Work started. The donkey man also came along with all the donkeys, and work started. So we went inside, and we were, Vyompat Prabhu, myself, and 1 or 2 other devotees who were sitting inside. Suddenly there was a big cacophony. We all rushed out, thinking some major issue has happened. What had happened, we discovered the donkey man, he had split the entire set of donkeys. He had brought about maybe 15, 20 donkeys. They had split it into 2 teams. One will bring the material, another will go, so that, the turnover, the people can keep working quickly. They can keep unloading, they can keep loading. Otherwise, the turnaround time will increase. So one group of donkeys were coming like this, another group coming like this. Both of them met each other on the way, and they started praying like anything. That was the big noise we heard and came out. And they are standing there, these two groups of donkeys, and braying at each other. You can imagine, all of them at the top of their voice. And then somehow that donkey man managed to separate those two teams. And then we created another circuit, another route. So one team goes like this, another team goes like this. The donkeys don't come face to face. Then we were all peaceful. And so like that, we managed to do the shifting and the brickwork and all that happened. And of course, later the roads came and situation improved. Very challenging circumstances to begin with. And a lot of interesting incidents like this happened. So on another note, during our childhood, the house where we used to stay, it was a very small neighborhood, middle class, lower middle class, that kind of neighborhood. And every day, my sister and I would go to the school. Evening we would come back. As soon as we would come back, we had some friends in that neighborhood. We would go to the road and then we would play cricket, this, that, and all those kind of things. In the gully cricket, with different kinds of balls and all that. Our parents would be very strict. They would say that this much time, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever is allotted, only that much we can play. After that, we have to come home, we have to study, we have to do our homework and all that. And our parents were very particular. There were only certain children with whom they would allow us to play. There was, opposite our house, there was a big house and there was a big family there. There were about 6 or 7 kids in that family. Our parents would never allow us to mix with them. They would always say, they are street urchins, don't mix with them. Because those children, they would half the time they would not go to school, and all the time they'll be in the street playing and all that. Their parents never bothered. They had left them, do whatever you want like that. So they were practically street urchins. And our parents were very particular. If they mix with them, our children will get spoiled. So there was another set of friends we used to play with them and all that. Now actually, those days we used to think as children, why our parents are not allowing us to mix with them and all that. But in reality, when we grew up, we realized we got a good education, we went to some good schools, got fairly well educated because our parents were so strict. Those children who were the street urchins, after 8th standard, 9th standard, dropped out of school, could not pass the examinations, they all became, their future became very poor. They could not get a good education. Naturally, they cannot get good jobs and all that. So they were always in poverty, that kind of situation. So that way, when the parents are very careful about the children, they are very thoughtful about their future. They don't allow the children to do whatever they want. They are very particular. And if the parents are neglectful, they will allow the children to do whatever you want, and the children will become street urchins. This is the reality. Sometimes, parents are like that. They don't bother. They are not. They don't think of the future of the children. They just let them be. Then the children will also become like that. They will not study properly. They don't know the value of education. Children are naturally inclined towards playing and all that. Their future becomes spoiled. Actually, in the Srimad-Bhagavatam in the 5th canto, Rishabhadeva, in his instructions to his sons, he says, that Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yad indriya preetaya apranoti na sadhumanye yata atmanoyam. What is that? Na sadhumanye yata atmanoyam asadapi asa klesha dehaha. Rishabhadeva tells his sons that in this material world, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. The people are engaged in all kinds of activities. And pramattaha, like madmen, what do? Kurute vikarma. They are engaged in all kinds of sinful activities. Nonam pramatta kurute vikarma yad indriya pritai aprunoti. Why? Why are people engaged in sinful activities? Indriya pritai aprunoti. Because they want to satisfy their senses. For the sake of sense gratification, people are engaged in all kinds of industrious activities, and they are ready to do any kind of sinful activity just to improve or enhance their sense gratification. And Rishabhadeva tells his sons, Na sadhu manye, I don't, in my opinion, this is not at all a good thing to do. This is not the right thing to do. Na sadhu manye, yata atmanoyam, asadapi kleshala asadehaha. Because this body for which the people are toiling so hard, they are working so hard. They are working so hard and engaging in so many sinful activities. For what are they doing? They are doing it for the sense gratification of the body. And the body is asat, it is temporary. For the temporary body, they are toiling so hard. Ultimately, for what? The ultimate end is what? The ultimate end is death. With death, everything is finished. Everybody has to meet with death. The final result of all of one's hard work and endeavor in this material world is death. One has to, at the point of death, one has to give up all the results of one's hard work and one has to go. And in the midst of this, while we are progressing towards our death and at the same time working very hard for our sense gratification, being oblivious to the approaching death, what happens? We engage in so much enmity with other people. Like we see, one party becomes the ruling party, then the opposition party opposes every move that the ruling party makes. Anything that the ruling party does, the opposition will come and criticize it in the papers, in the media, everywhere you can see. And you can see in the television also, there will be an interview and the interviewer will call one party from the ruling party, another person from the opposition party. Both of them will be shouting and fighting at each other. Ultimately for what? Ultimately to give up all these things and die and go. This is exactly like those donkeys. Those donkeys, they were struggling, working so hard, isn't it? Carrying those loads of bricks and sand on their both sides. In Vrindavan, in our campus, they are carrying all that load. So the donkey is a beast of burden. And when two groups of donkeys came, they are braying and yelling at each other. Exactly like this in this material world. Big businessmen, big politicians, big scientists, big philosophers, big activists, big socialists. What are they all doing? Braying, making a lot of noise like the braying of the donkeys. Because ultimately, and the donkeys, they are struggling so hard for what? They are working so hard, carrying so much weight. For what? Ultimately, for a little bit of grass, which, as Prabhupada says, is available everywhere. Similarly, all these people are working so hard for what? For sense gratification, which is available in every form of life. Even in the animals, even in the cats, dogs, everywhere the sense gratification is there. But these people are thinking, no, I have to work so hard so that I can enjoy my senses. Actually, there is no need to work hard to enjoy the senses. Are animals like cats and dogs having a government, having laws, having the police, judiciary, all these things to carry out their activities nicely? No, they don't have any government, they don't have any law. Even the human beings' laws, they don't bother about it. You have a board on the street which says only when the green light is there you can cross the street. Human being will have to wait. If when the light is red, if it tries to cross the street, the policemen, all the other motorists, everybody will scold you. On the other hand, if an animal crosses, nobody will bother. So human being laws also, the animals don't bother. And their activities of sense gratification, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, going on nicely. Human being means he thinks I have to have a source of livelihood. I have to go and work hard like the donkeys are working so hard. They think I have to work hard like that, only then I'll get food to eat. Actually, Prabhupada says that the kind of livelihood I want to engage in is my choice. I can become a doctor, I can become an engineer, I can become a lawyer, I can become a you can become anything you want for your livelihood. Once I choose that this is going to be my livelihood and I start working, it appears that that livelihood is maintaining me. Reality is not that. Reality is, even if I don't engage in that livelihood, I will get my maintenance. Eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. Krishna is the maintainer. He will maintain. But in illusion, I have chosen a certain livelihood, certain job or business or whatever for my livelihood, and I am thinking that that is actually what is maintaining me. Actually, so many people don't have any job. We have unemployment in this country, isn't it? There's a lot of talk. Unemployment rate is 6%, 7%, or whatever that percentage is. All those unemployed people, are they not having food to eat? Are they not having clothes to wear? Are they not having a house to live in? They're all living. But we have made it a big problem. Oh, unemployed people, how will they live? But they're all living. No. Crores of people don't have employment in this country. They're all living. Some or the other, Krishna will maintain them. Animals also, cats, dogs, all these horses, all these animals are in the street. They don't go to job, they don't go to work, they don't think of I have to run a business. They don't do any of those things. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending is going on for them. So like these set of donkeys who are working hard, carrying the bricks and sand and all those kind of things, we are thinking if we don't work hard like the donkeys, we will not get our food to eat. Actually, if you see, although in this material world we may glorify, oh, this politician is a great man, this scientist is a great man, this engineer, such great achievements he did, this doctor, so much medical advancement he did for the good of the people, all these things we may glorify. But all of them actually, they are all working in the same concept like the donkeys. What is that? I have to work hard, then only I can survive. This is a donkey mentality, asinine mentality. And what happens? Being controlled by this mentality, we engage in all kinds of sinful activities. Edindriya pritaya apranoti, na sadhu manye. Actually, there is no need for a source of livelihood, first of all. That is one big illusion. We accept that illusion. And then to continue that livelihood and to make more and more money in that livelihood, what do? We engage in sinful activities. Especially in Kali Yuga, the people don't have any thinking that what activity I am doing, whether is it papa or punya, whether it is pious or sinful, that consideration itself doesn't exist. In Kali Yuga, what is the people's thinking? The end justifies the means. If I am able to earn money, doesn't matter what activity I do. I am running a liquor shop and I earn a lot of money. I become a liquor baron. I'll become a respected man in society. I'm running a slaughterhouse. I become a rich man by running a slaughterhouse. In Kali Yuga, he'll be considered, this man is a great man. In Kali Yuga, what people see is how much money he has got. Anyone has got money in Kali Yuga, he becomes respectable. People don't see what is the kind of sinful activity he is engaged in. This is exactly like the street urchins. Prabhupada gives this example. Like street urchins, they are not bothered. They are simply interested in playing. They are not bothered about their future. The parents are neglectful. They don't bother about them. They are spoiling their future. Like that, in Kali Yuga, the people, what are they doing? Even the most intelligent, so-called intelligent and intellectual class of people, they don't have the thinking that whether what I am doing, is it sinful or pious? What reaction is it going to give me in the future? What is the consequence of my actions? What are the repercussions? We don't think at all. Somehow I have to earn money, that's all. This is exactly like the street urchin. Somehow I have to enjoy by playing. They don't think about the repercussions of their actions. Just like those street urchins in our neighborhood. They never thought, what is the repercussion of my going on playing without properly studying? I'll fail in class, I'll not get a good education, my future will be spoiled. They never thought. Their parents also did not bother. Street urchins, they have nobody to care for them. There is nobody to guide them. There is nobody to tell them what is right and wrong. So they will go their way. Similarly, in people in Kali Yuga, they are totally unguided. In the previous ages, there used to be responsible brahmanas who would guide the society. What is right and wrong? what is pious activity and what is sinful activities, what is papa, punya. In Kali Yuga, unfortunately, that guidance is not there. So all the people are like street urchins. They are going on engaging in sinful activity, firmly under the conception that this is mine, this body is mine, and everything related to this body is mine. This family is mine, this business is mine, this job is mine, this money is mine, this country is mine, this community is mine. It's firmly under the conception of mama, this is mine. Driven by that conception of mama, mine, this is mine, this body is mine, and everything related to the body is mine, people are engaging in all kinds of sinful activities without considering the repercussions. Yed nunam pramattaha kurute vikarma. Everybody is engaged in vikarma exactly like mad people. Pramatta, mad people, they don't bother about what is the repercussion of their activity. They will just go on doing whatever their mind dictates. Exactly like that, like the street urchins, like madmen, people in Kali Yuga are doing whatever comes to their mind, thinking that this is my choice. This is my body. I will do whatever I want with it. I will dress in the way I want. I will talk in the way I want. I will do what I like. Why? Driven by this conception that everything related to this body is mine and everything related to the body is mine. This is the conception of mama. And when the people engage in this conception of this is mine, they are engaged in hard work like the donkeys, and like street urchins, they are not bothered about the reactions of their actions. Finally, one day what happens? They'll become frustrated, because although they may work hard and they may engage in sense gratification unrestrictedly, it can never satisfy them. Therefore, what happens? After a certain point, they become frustrated. And when they become frustrated, what do they say? They give up that conception of mine. I become very renounced. And they start saying, I am the Supreme Brahman. They develop an impersonal conception. I am God. So there is no difference between God and me. Now in illusion, I am thinking I am separate. But once I come to knowledge, I study the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta, I know that I am Brahman, then I am the Supreme Brahman. There is no difference. So they switch over from the conception of mama to the conception of aham, I. So in the material, as long as we are materially engaged, what happens? Engaged in material sense gratification, the conception of mama becomes very prominent. The conception of everything is mine becomes very prominent. And we become so much attached to it. And anybody tries to do something which will take away what I think is mine, immediately there is a big conflict that arises. And this is how you see, like the two groups of donkeys coming and braying, like that we start making a lot of noise. We start conflicts, we start quarreling with each other. What is the end ultimately? What we are quarreling for, at the end of our life, we will leave and go. Death will come and take it away. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. Mrityu will come and take away everything which I am thinking is mine. Foolishly, we keep pursuing that conception of mama or mine. When some people, when they realize this, the foolishness of this, they say, no. This body is not mine. This world is not mine. All this is illusion. Jagan mithya, Brahman satya. I am that Brahman. Soham. I am the Supreme Brahman. So they transfer themselves from conception of mama to aham. Soham. I am that Supreme Brahman. They come to the conception of aham. And after coming to that conception, what will happen? After some time, they will again come back to the material conception of mama and start doing all kinds of philanthropic activities, opening hospitals, schools, orphanages, again coming back to the same conception of mama. Nobody in this material world, by following any process of yoga, whether it is dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, karma yoga, or jnana yoga, can overcome these conceptions of aham and mama. Maximum you can go to the conception of aham. You cannot go beyond that. Although the jnanis, they say that we have to give up. We have to become desireless. We have to give up our identity with this material world. Still, they are not able to give up that identity, that sense of identity that I am the Supreme Brahman. So although the Mayavadis and Jnanis think that I have overcome the conception of aham and mama, they have not gone beyond the conception of aham. They may have given up the conception of mama, mine, but they have not given up the conception of I. And as long as we are in the clutches of any of these conceptions, either aham or mama, me or mine, what will happen? Kamalobhadibir malaihi. Greed and lust will continue to rule our heart. We cannot become free from the influence of kama and lobha, from the influence of lust and greed. It is not possible as long as mamabhimanottaihi, as long as we are driven by the feelings of aham and mama. So then what is the procedure? Vita yadam manashuddham. When the mind and consciousness becomes purified, then we can become free from the kama and lobha, from lust and greed arising out of concepts of aham and mama, me and mine. Does that mean that I have to totally give up the conception of I and mine? I am nothing. I am shunya. I don't exist. Is that what we are saying? No, that is another trap. Factual reality is, because we are living entities, we cannot give up the conception of aham and mama. Then why is it being said here that aham and mama should be given up? Prabhupada is translating therefore clearly, false identification of the body as I and bodily possessions as mine should be given up. That means aham and mama doesn't go, it will always remain. Then what is that vitam yada manashuddham? What is that shuddha mana, that purified mind and consciousness, where I don't identify myself as aham and mama, me and mine? What is that situation? What is that purified state of mind and consciousness? That is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Naham varni nagrihapatir no vanasto yatirva. Naham narapatir napi vaisho na shudro. Naham narapatir. What is that? I am not a king, I am not a brahmana, I am not a vaisya, I am not a kshatriya. So he says, nor am I a brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha or sannyasi. These are all bodily conceptions. So he says, the conception of I is none of these. I am a man, I am a woman, I am a Hindu, I am a brahmana, I am a kshatriya, I am a vaisya, I am a brahmachari, grihastha, I am a married man. It's none of these things. Kintu prodyan nikhila paramananda purnamritabdher gopi bartuhu padakamalayyor dasa dasanu dasa. Then what am I? If I am not any of these things, then what am I? I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the master of the gopis, Krishna, who is the reservoir of all pleasure. Nikhila purnamritabdher gopi bartuhu padakamalayyor dasa dasanu dasa. And the servant of the servant of the servant of the master of the gopis, Krishna. This is the conception of I. We have to develop this conception. We have to give the conception that I am the supreme Brahman. Soham, aham brahmasmi. We have to give that conception of aham. And we have to understand that my actual factual position is to be a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. And what about the sense of mama? This is mine. How do we give that up? The Vedic scriptures state that Ananya mamata Vishnu mamata prema sangata bhaktirityuchyate bhishma prahladodhava naradaihi. Bhakti or devotional service means Ananya mamata. We give up our sense of this is mine about everything else related to the body. Ananya mamata means there is only one thing we consider as mine. Ananya mamata, we give up our sense of mine with respect to everything else. This is my country, this is my family, this is my intelligence, this is my body. We give up that sense of mine altogether. And then Ananya mamata, Vishnu mamata, but we transfer that sense of mind to Vishnu or Krishna. Krishna, I am yours and you are mine. And everything related to Krishna is mine. Everything unrelated to Krishna, I am not interested in. I am Krishna's and Krishna is mine. Ananya mamata, Vishnu mamata, prema sangata. Out of a strong sense of love for Krishna, when we start feeling Krishna is mine and I am Krishna's, that is the true sense of mama or mamatva, or the feeling of mine, mamata. Ananya mamata, Vishnu mamata, prema sangata. And this sort of thinking that I am Krishna and Krishna's is mine out of a strong sense of love for Krishna, that is declared to be bhakti rityuchyate. It is declared to be bhakti. It is declared to be bhakti yoga. By whom? Not by ordinary people. Bhishma, Prahlada, Uddhava, Narada. Such, all these Mahajanas have declared that this is true bhakti. This is true devotional service. And only by such devotional service, when we replace our sense of aham and mama with the sense that I am a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, and Krishna is mine, when this becomes our conception of aham and mama, replacing the sense of I am this body and everything related to the body is mine, then what happens? That state is called Shuddham Manaha. And when our mind becomes purified in such a consciousness, Adukam Asukam Samam, we will transcend the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. Therefore, when one engages in devotional service to Krishna, what happens is, the first thing that happens is, we transcend the stage of material happiness and distress. The so-called material happiness in this material world is no more appealing to us. When we become devotees of Krishna, what happens? We give up drinking coffee and tea, we give up all kinds of intoxicants, we give up meat eating, we give up onion and garlic, we want to eat only Krishna prasadam. Actually, if you see, this is detachment from material sense gratification. Outside in the material world, these are things which people hanker for. Intoxication. People are opening big bars, big pubs, this one, you know, the excise department of the government, which levies taxes on liquor, alcoholic products, is actually one of the richest departments in the country. This is the reality. That means people are hankering for alcohol, for intoxicants. In every cigarette packet, they have big, huge picture of how, if you engage in smoking, you will get oral cancer. And there are very graphic pictures depicted on the covers of the cigarette packets, of how, when a person becomes afflicted by oral cancer, what kind of state he goes through. People see that, people know that, still they will go buy a cigarette and smoke. They cannot give up intoxication. Meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, these are things which people hanker for. People are running after that. People will work hard day and night, earn money, and they will spend on these things. And look at us, we have given up all those things. Those very things which are aspired for by the people. People are struggling and working hard to get those things. We have given up those things. How? Why? Simply because we have become attached to Krishna. We are rendering devotional service to Krishna, beginning with chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the power of Bhakti Yoga. When we engage in Bhakti Yoga, what happens? Shuddham Manaha. The mind becomes purified, and the mind becomes purified. Adukam Asukam Samam. We transcend the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. We are no more bothered. We are no more interested in eating, sleeping, mating and defending. We are no more interested in making elaborate arrangements, earning money, having a house, having a good bank balance. All these things we are no more interested in. Why? Because for the materialist, these are the things which bring the happiness related to meat eating, intoxication, gambling and illicit sex. To engage in all these things, money is required. Without money, you cannot enjoy these things. Therefore, everybody is working hard to improve his economic condition in this material world so that he can engage in these four things. And what are we doing? We have given up these 4 things. Therefore, we are no more interested in career. We are no more interested in money. We are not interested in becoming big people in the society. We are not interested in any of those things. We have realized that all these things are like the hard working of the donkeys. In the outside world, whenever there is any little disturbance to these arrangements that these people do, there is a big halla-gulla. There is a big cacophony, like the 2 groups of donkeys came and they started braying. Like that, people start making a lot of noise. And when we see that, what do we think? We start laughing. What is this? These people are simply for some silly, insignificant thing, people are fighting. Nations go to war over these kind of silly, insignificant things. So how we have developed this perspective, why we are not affected by these things which for the outside material world, for the materialists, these are very big things. But we are not bothered about these things at all. These things don't affect us at all. Why? Because manashuddham, our minds have become purified. And therefore, adukkam asukham samam. We have transcended so-called material happiness and distress. These things don't bother us. We have understood the reality. Ultimately, whatever hard work we do in this material world, whatever result we gain, eventually death will come and take away. So what is the value of this? Why should we work hard like donkeys? We should work intelligently, smartly. And so therefore, we become more and more engaged in Krishna consciousness. And so this is the instruction of Kapila Deva to Devahuti, that we should become free from the conception of aham and mama. We should become free from the conception of me and mine, and the consequent rising of lust and greed within the heart. We have to purify our mind of these things, and we have to transcend the stage of being attached to material happiness and distress. And then what happens further and how this is achieved will all be described by Kapila Deva in the upcoming verses. So I'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. Normally, if people say, if we give up all the hard working, then how the society will go on, how the things will happen, if you give up your jobs and all that's the comments.
Yeah. If everybody gives up his job, how society will go on? That's another big illusion. Actually, because people who are blind, they cannot see how we will be maintained and everything will run smoothly and nicely if we don't work hard and instead we engage in devotional service to Krishna. We are not telling people become idle, don't do anything, sit at home and watch TV. That's not what we are saying. We are saying stop your activities and your hard work for earning money and engaging in sense gratification, and instead work hard for Krishna. And if you engage in devotional service to Krishna, everything will become very smooth and very nicely arranged. You don't have to worry. Why? Because Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. Actually, every living entity is being maintained by Krishna. Animal society also, things are running so nicely. There are so many animals in the forest, big elephants. They need almost a ton of food every day to eat. After all, a human being requires only 150-200 grams of food every day, one time. Whereas an elephant, at one time, it will eat almost up to a ton of food, 1,000 kgs. Can you imagine that? Whereas ours is 0.2 to 0.3 kg. And the elephant is eating 1,000 kgs. 10,000 times of what we eat, the elephant eats. And the elephant is not having any law, having any government, having democratic elections, who will be the next ruler of the elephants, and what should be, a constitution. Let us have a constitution. This is my country of elephants. This is your country of elephants. None of those things are there. Are not the elephants living happily? They are also having children. They are also having eating, sleeping, mating, defending. All these things are going on. So if elephants and animals in the forest can be maintained, why can't human beings be maintained by the Supreme Lord? Of course, this does not mean that we become like animals. On the other hand, we have to have the confidence that if an unintelligent animal like an elephant or a tiger or a lion which is living in the forest, which has no purpose in life, and that has no sense of discrimination, if it is able to live happily in the forest, then why, if I as an intelligent human being, I engage my life and energy in serving Krishna, why Krishna will not maintain me? That is why I gave the example of so many unemployed youth in this country. They are all living, no, Krishna is maintaining all of them. People are so blind that they cannot see this. They think, no, those people are suffering. We have to create employment, we have to make industries, we have to make big factories, and then only the people will be happy. Actually, all those people who are employed, are they happy? They are the most unhappy people. So what have we achieved? Fact is, we are not able to see all these things. If we give up all these endeavors for my bodily sense satisfaction, for my bodily maintenance, and instead I work for the pleasure of Krishna, Krishna will maintain us far better than even a king can be maintained. Look at all us temple devotees. What are we doing? Are we working hard, earning money? We are not doing any of those things. Our simply morning to night engagement is what? How to serve Krishna. Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama are here. They are on the altar. How to feed them nicely, how to take care of them nicely, how to dress them nicely, how to do arati for them nicely, how to please them by holding good festivals. This is our only thinking. We are not thinking about what will happen in my future, in my old age, who will take care of me. I should have some bank balance. I don't even have a house to stay. Not bothered. So is Krishna not taking care of all of us? We are all living, no. Happily we are living. The level of happiness that we are having cannot be matched even by a king in this material world. Even if one becomes an emperor of this whole earth, he cannot live as happily as we can live. Krishna is maintaining us. We are not bothered about our own maintenance. Are we not living a disciplined life? Are we not having everything organized? Just because we are devotees, we are not working for our maintenance, does not mean that our life is totally disorganized. Every day in the morning, 4:30 a.m. you come, exactly Pujari will come and stand and blow the conch. Exactly after Bhagavatam class, everybody is hungry. 9 o'clock we go into the ashram prasadam hall. Prasadam, hot prasadam is ready. So systematic and organized. Precisely on time everything is happening. How everything is happening? Because we have dedicated to serving Krishna, Krishna is standing there. And he's seeing, Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama are standing and seeing, oh, these devotees are so nicely, they are serving us. Their only work is to please us. So let everything go very smoothly, organized way, let everything happen. Everything is happening. Far more organized than the material world, how people run. That's why materialists, they come to our temples and they say, we can set our watch by the time the conch blows in this temple. That means even that kind of precision, even the materialists don't have. Some delays are acceptable. In our temples, delay, even 1 second delay is not acceptable. How so systematically we are able to do. Clockwork precision, this is called. That is how our life goes. How so much clockwork precision is happening. Not that we are doing anything. They are not doing anything. Just because we have decided we don't want to engage in sense gratification. We have given up the sense of aham and mama, me and mine. Therefore, Krishna is maintaining everything very smoothly. Everything precisely, on time, in proper way, everything will go on. Even when COVID time, everything was shut down. People were not allowed to go out of their houses. Still, even at that time, our life was going on as it is. No change. Any change? Morning 9 a.m. you would go, prasadam would be ready. 4:30 a.m. you get up, Mangalarti would happen, conch would blow. Everything was going on, no. No matter what happens, this world may fall apart. Our life will continue as it is. Why? Because we have dedicated our life for Krishna. So imagine if the whole world becomes like this. Nobody is bothered about their bodily maintenance. Everybody is only thinking how to serve Krishna. Then the sun, the moon, the different seasons, rainy season, summer season, the earth producing grains, everything will become so systematic, you don't have to worry about anything. And that is what Kunti Devi also told Krishna. She told, Vanadrinad Dyudanmanto Hyedante Taba Vikshitaihi. She said, all the rivers are flowing full of water. The mountains are producing all kinds of gems and jewels. All the forests and the lands are producing ample, abundantly they are producing fruits and vegetables and grains. How? Because Tava Vikshitai, because Krishna, your glance has fallen upon all of them. She is not saying, Yudhishthira has managed so nicely, so perfectly, is administrating everything as a king, as an emperor, that things are happening smoothly. No. She is saying, because Krishna, you have cast your glance upon the earth, therefore everything has become so nice. So abundantly, everything, the forest, the greenery has become so verdant, far more than what the earth requires. That much amount of grains and vegetables and fruits the earth is producing. The earth is producing so much jewels and gold that we don't know what to do with it. This is the situation. So you see, why? Because Yudhishthira was a pure devotee of Krishna. His only thinking in life was, he was not thinking how to solve the economic problem of the people, how to improve the employment rate amongst the youth. He was not thinking of all those things. He was thinking how I can engage all the citizens in pleasing Krishna. Consequently, Krishna took the responsibility of maintaining everyone. Bharta Bhokta Cha, Krishna says, he is the actual maintainer of all the living entities. Currently, what happens is, engaged in material sense gratification, Nunaha pramattaha kurute vikarma, pramattaha. Because we have become mad, blinded by madness, thinking that this body is mine, what happens? We are not able to see that Krishna is maintaining me. We think I am the source of maintenance. So many people are working under me. I am maintaining all of them. I am earning money, therefore I am maintaining my family. Actually, nobody can maintain anybody. Other than Krishna, nobody can maintain anybody else. This is the truth. But being maddened by the illusion that this body is mine, and I am Brahman, I am the supreme, I am the controller. Because of that, what happens? We are not able to see Krishna's hand in our maintenance. Krishna has assured us, Yoga Kshemam Mahamyaham. If we become a devotee of Krishna, we surrender unto Krishna, and all our activities we surrender unto Krishna, we dedicate to Krishna. We no more think about our own maintenance. Then what? Krishna says, Yoga Kshemam Mahamyaham. Krishna will personally take care of our maintenance and our welfare. Yoga and Kshema. Yoga maintenance, Kshema, our welfare. Both things Krishna takes responsibility. This is exactly like small children. Small children, they are totally dependent upon their parents. They don't go and ask the parents, I want food, give me food. Please dress me, please bathe me. Oh, I'm sick, take me to the doctor. Children never have to ask any of these things. They are simply dependent on the parents. They know a parent will take care. And they are happy playing and doing and enjoying their life. The parent is always anxious. Oh, my child has got a little cold. Oh, my child has got fever. Let me take him to the best hospital, to the best doctor. And the time comes, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, mother is ready with all the cooking. Mother is started cooking from 9 a.m. Thinking that 12 o'clock, my child will be hungry. Child is not thinking at 9 o'clock that I'll become hungry at 12 o'clock. What will happen? What will mother cook for me or not? Will I have food or not? Child is not thinking. Child is happy going to school, playing, enjoying with friends. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock sharp, mother will come and bring the food, he will eat. And mother will be feeding, eat. Child is saying, no, I don't want. This is exactly the situation of a devotee. Devotee is not bothered about his maintenance because he knows Krishna is there. Just like the child is there. But devotee never asks Krishna for anything. Krishna, will you maintain me? Will you protect me? In my old age, how will you maintain me? Devotee is not bothered because he knows Krishna will take care. And ye yasamam prapadyante tataiva bhajamyaham. If you are so surrendered to Krishna, Krishna says, I will take that much care of you. Yoga Kshemam Bahamyaham. I will take care. Even though as a devotee, I am not bothered in my old age, how will I take care of myself? Krishna already has started thinking. When he becomes old, what all problems will come? I have to make so many arrangements, he has to be taken care of. Krishna is arranging. And Krishna's arrangements are always perfect. Far better than whatever the best arrangements we can do, Krishna can take care. So therefore, devotee doesn't have to ask. Devotee never asks Krishna, please take care of me in my old age. Please take care of my welfare. oh, what will happen to my maintenance? What will happen to my food? What will, if I don't have money, who will maintain me? Devotee is not bothered. So if we become surrendered to Krishna like that, then Krishna will take full care of us. This is the point. So therefore, if the whole world becomes oriented like that and surrendered and dedicated to Krishna, then this world will become the spiritual world. Spiritual world, what happens in the spiritual world? In the spiritual world, nobody is bothered about his maintenance. Nobody thinks about how to maintain and how to govern and how to have an election and maintain the government. Nobody thinks. In the spiritual world, who is there? There is no government, there is no king. In Vraja, Nanda Maharaj is the king. Krishna is the Ladla. He is the darling of Vrindavan. That's all. There is no government. There is no army. There is no police. There is no judiciary. Nothing is there. No hospitals are there. So isn't spiritual world running? Spiritual world is running far more beautifully and systematically than this material world. Why? Because there everyone is surrendered to Krishna. So if in this earth everybody becomes surrendered to Krishna like that, then this will become the spiritual world. You won't need a government, you don't need politicians, you don't need police, you don't need judiciary. Everybody is a devotee. And Krishna is the king, Krishna is the judiciary, he is the police, he is the controller, he is the maintainer. Over. You don't need anything more. This is the reality. But what happens? Nunam pramattaha. You are all so mad, thinking that this body is mine and I am the controller. Aham mama. Therefore, we cannot comprehend how this is possible. And therefore, we'll come up with all these kind of questions. No, how will the world run? How will the society run? How will people be maintained? Krishna knows far better how to maintain us than we can. Okay? We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.